All right, we got Charlie Kirk assassination here. Some celebrity reactions. I've actually watched a lot of Charlie Kirk's debates on Jubilee and a lot of his college debates. I think this was another one of them, but it ends up looking like a rally because, of course, he actually is one of the main reasons why Trump was elected along with Candace Owens. So a lot of people felt a lot of different ways. It was like 50-50. I agree with 50% of what Charlie Kirk says, and I disagree with 50% of what he says. But I don't think what went on should have happened. I don't think he should have been assassinated. Of course, if you want to go to war, you set up a war with some soldiers, not reporters, activists, stuff like that. I mean, this man had a family and some kids, but of course, he is saying a lot of vulgar things. And what precipitates the culture in America is kind of what happened to him, based upon even what he believes. They have a lot of clips of him saying that if there has to be public executions, so be it. Or he thinks we should bring back public executions, and a couple of deaths a year is worth having guns. So it was very ironic that he was gunned down. So you have a lot of different points on this white on white crime, the black community not wanting to have empathy and sympathy, the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, and what's really been going on with America and potential civil war amongst Americans again. So we got a few civil wars going on, but let's go ahead and take a look at what some of these celebrities said. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? And also, Charlie, he a lot of the time references mass shootings to transgenders. So it's interesting. The shooter is still at large. Nobody knows where the shooter is at. So a lot of people think it's been a professional hit done by some type of government organization or an elite class of individuals that could afford to have someone perform at that level. The authorities came out yesterday and said that the shooter was of college age, but a lot of people don't believe that because it was so professional and he still got away. So they may be looking to pin it on whoever they want to. But we'll see as the media continues. Too many. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Correct. And like what he said about gang violence is like, two things can be true at once. Like Charlie is like I don't know, he's a racist, of course. He's a good old boy. So but what he's saying is true though. Blacks do still make up 40% of homicides, and black men do need to, look at gang violence and take a look at what they're doing to each other, as well as hip hop music and the degenerate culture, you know, that comes from like the media. But the thing about Charlie is he doesn't want to admit that most of that stuff is controlled by Europeans and or uh whoever's controlling our media. You know what I mean? So it's not like black people control media. They don't control guns. They don't control, the distribution of any type of major drug. So we got to take accountability as black people, definitely. That's why I agree with a lot of the stuff he says, because it's true. Like we do got to take accountability with gang violence and the homicide rate being so high. But also Charlie never takes into account that his people, white people, have uh contributed to a lot of the issues that other minority groups deal with. And that's why a lot of people feel as though his death was justified. You know what I mean? But me personally, I don't think he should have got killed like that. That wasn't cool. But yeah, you just got to be careful whenever you start gaining masses of people with a crowd behind you. Now it becomes powerful. It's more than just words, and freedom has never really been free. I mean, speech has never really been free. So, just got to understand that. The interview and four people in front of us, we hear the gunshot, and then you see Charlie go limp, and his neck kind of turned, and we felt bloody here.
And could you get a sense, Emma, uh, of his injuries and what happened after that?
Both of our perspectives were that he was shot in the neck. To be perfectly honest, he like so much blood came out of his neck immediately. We also took the ground. I can't tell you what happened immediately after.
Want to know how I feel about this? I don't know, but I do know it's a good time to shut the fuck up. I don't know exactly what that means. Charlie was the only person that spoke to me right before the RNC speech. His speech was right before mine. He told me that I was going to do great, just breathe, and that I was standing up for my country. Thank you, Charlie, for being the voice of reason. You will truly be missed. Sending love to all his friends and family. That's from Amber Rose, who was another big advocate for MAGA and the red side. You know, she was a big advocate for the hip hop community to get them on board and stuff, because that's what she has relevancy to. So it's interesting though that all of these red side people come together. Um, but yeah, because some people say that it was the red side that got him killed, but they made it look like it's the blue side or it's liberals or it's somebody else. But this guy was conservative. He wasn't necessarily uh, Republican necessarily. So it's just interesting. The political world reacts. We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife Erica and his two young children. Of course, you have a bunch of blacks coming to aid and have sympathy for Charlie Kirk. That's how they got into the positions that they got into. There is no place in our country for this kind of violence, and what's in now? Ah, be quiet, Sleepy Joe. I am deeply disturbed by the shooting in Utah, Doug, and I send our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family. Let me be clear. So clear. Political violence has no place in America. I condemn this act, and we must all work together to ensure this does not lead to more violence. I agree with that. Even if you have disagreements, you don't want to just get straight to killing. Like even all the people that's agreeing with what happened, is like y'all agree with y'all probably never did nothing in life. You never did anything violent. Nothing ever real violent happened to you. Those are the people that's saying this should have happened or he should have had something violent happen to him. If Charlie Kirk was violent and he was inciting violence, that would be a different thing. But Charlie Kirk wasn't a violent person, so it's just like you really like try to like kill a activist or a reporter. That's not cool. Donald Trump Jr., the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melanie and the sympathies go out to his beautiful wife Erica and family. Charlie, we love you. I can't process this. Candace Owens was crying and stuff, like, of course. It's actually interesting though, because a lot of black people have a problem with black people being sympathetic for them because white people have no sympathy for black people in situations like this, and well, they try to use gang violence. That's why it's so ironic that Charlie Kirk got killed that way by a white person because they're using gang violence and what blacks do to justify why you know they treat minorities and black people the way that they do. Anytime you bring up an issue, Charlie Kirk would be like, well, let's talk about gang violence, not even understanding that gang violence is precipitated through the media, redlining, all the things that have been put in place to hold black people back. But we can't really make excuses. But at the end of the day, it's like they're using violence to facilitate this. Police power, eminent domain, forcing people into certain neighborhoods, putting drugs in their neighborhood, the CIA operation, the FBI operations, things that's going on that black people don't have control over. Black people were not even there when the when the Constitution was written. Like black people weren't even considered humans when the laws of this country were made. So Charlie Kirk is one of those people that thinks that black and white people are on the same level and started at a fair starting line when that's 100% not true. But he still says some things that make a lot of sense, of course, but he says a lot of that. That's why people don't have the sympathy for him. You know what I mean? So this is crazy, man.
Y'all be acting like starting to be like them.
So look, this is Amanda Seales. I'm sure she has no sympathy for him.
Hurts today.
But again, man, Amanda Seales is one of those kind of undercover feminists that is not really with the smoke anyway. She not willing to go shoot nobody's head off, but she'll commend somebody else for shooting somebody's head off. But it's like she's not really with the smoke. And that's why I don't like a lot of these like fake woke activists. Not saying Amanda Seales is fake woke. She's very intelligent. Like I agree with 90% of what she says and what she stands for. It's just that again, when you're celebrating people's deaths, like it's just not good because like you ain't even do it. Like nobody from your campaign did it, and it's not gonna bring any change. It's not gonna really change anything. Like if you kill a CEO of this major pharmaceutical distribution company, or you kill a politician or an activist or a reporter that said this or that, is it really gonna make a change? Like you gotta like do the right things. You know what I mean? It may cause more civil war, which is good for America because now there's more chaos for them to control people. You know, so it's just like you're adding more chaos. That's what they want. Let's see what she has to say.
Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing.
It doesn't matter what Charlie Kirk believes in. We don't listen to Charlie Kirk. Remember what Michelle Obama said? And I don't agree with Michelle Obama. She says when they go high, when they go low, we go high. And that's one thing I agree with what Michelle Obama says. You know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with them or the Obamas at all. But it's just like y'all gotta realize you gotta get the vibranium. Of course, you gotta be dangerous and violent and have capable of violence, but that doesn't mean you have to uh uh be violent with people that don't have the means to be violent with you. You know what I mean? That's why China and Russia and America, they never fight. They always pick on somebody smaller than them. You know what I mean? And that's not cool.
He said it's some new age made up shit. He also said people gotta be sacrificed in order to protect.
Again, that is what the freedom of speech is for. A lot of people say a lot of things. If we're gonna kill everybody for what they say or what they believe, then y'all better get ready to go to war, bro. And these are the people that's not with no smoke. They never killed nobody, never did nothing. Don't have no records. They don't have no dirt on their hands. Talking about somebody should have got killed about some shit. So it's interesting, bro. These people are just talking. If somebody would have killed her, a white person would have killed her for the way that she believes, people will be like, yo, that's not right. Even in war, there's a right and wrong. There's laws even when we're engaged in war, guys. You don't just do anything. That's how I know y'all niggas are not real warriors.
Okay. Now, if he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of him. But this white on white, he died. And B, life comes at you fast. Let's see. Did he die? Someone in the comments said he died. They ain't say he did yet. Listen. He gone? Wow. That's a tough break, bro. That's a tough break.
Like for me, if it's not about not having sympathy. If you don't care, then don't care. Don't even mention it. There's no reason to come on and be like telling people what they should or shouldn't care about, especially in regards to like human life. We shouldn't care about this because they don't care. No, that's what makes us more powerful to begin with, is that we do care. You see, these people are not leaders. They're just very highly intelligent. They are smart though.
When he got up there telling all these people secrets. What did he think was gonna happen? That man said, I'm gonna tell y'all auntie. That was like the other day.
I don't lie. Charlie did ask for them Epstein files, and he said they should be available. So, like, somebody told me, really, my dad told me, he was like, I think it was the red side that paid somebody to make it look like the blue side did this. Liberals did this to him and stuff like that. But that makes a lot of sense too, bro. That's 100% America too. So
That was like the other day. But that man was on there and said, this person was with Epstein and that person, and I promise you, hold on, let me block this for all of that was probably over some capitalist bullshit. Like they didn't give him a job that he wanted or something. That's it. So, what are y'all talking about? Oh, that was Ben Shapiro doing that? Damn. I don't even, to be very honest, they're all the same person to me. Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, they're all the same person to me. I don't.
yeah, I mean, like Candace and Charlie and all of them are kind of like pawns for the Republican Party to get their initiatives done, bro. Like they are highly important to Mac.
Mm. Well, dang. They're all the same person to me. Because at the end of the day, they all serve the same master. Why would you feel bad about it? You know, the thing about empathy is that it requires energy. It requires connectivity, right? And, you know, some people think empathy and sympathy are the same thing, and they're not the same thing. So, sympathy is the little performance that y'all do on here where you feel bad because it looks good to you to feel bad. That's sympathy. It's an act of acting. You don't actually feel bad, but it like looks good to feel bad in your opinion, so you feel bad. That's sympathy.
We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from the top to the bottom. God bless. That shit sounds generic as hell. But yeah, Amanda Seals, I mean, it does take some energy to be empathetic, but you know, those are her ops. So it's just like, I mean, you could say he's everybody's ops. But everybody can say they're ops or whatever, but again, does that justify blowing somebody's head off? I don't know. You know, words are powerful. But at the end of the day, I thought it was interesting to look at the black community really being so mad about the empathy, which means you could feel how this person feels. And even though Amanda said still saying she having no connectivity to him, you should still, as a human, even if you feel as though maybe Europeans are not all the way human. As in, do you feel anything for animals when you see animals get their head blew off? Like it just like I don't know, like the Avatar people, they'll like kill an animal and do a prayer over it. That's more spiritual, more indigenous. as opposed to just like this culture of America where we're so desensitized to death, we just think it's normal. Like, yeah, he should have got his head blew off because he said that. It's like, bro, relax. Like, you're not even a violent person. You don't even get active to be talking like that.
On a major update on our breaking news, FBI Director Charlie Kirk has just posted on X or Twitter that the suspect in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Let's get straight to CNN's Evan Perez. Evan, what did FBI Director Patel have to say? Well, Jake, he didn't provide any detail about the suspect, but here's what he said. The subject of the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when able. And so,
Not the shooter. Man, I don't know if they got this guy. They said as a college age kid, they got the suspect. They don't want to show him to us. Like, why not? Like, it's always when it's a school shooter or a sniper, you already know who it is, and they don't want to show us. It's like y'all the characters. But yeah, man. Until next time, it's crazy world we got going on here in America. Hopefully, we can try to do better and or give the control back to the indigenous people, and we'll do a better job. I'm just saying.